Good afternoon. My name is Sophia Miller, and it is my honor and privilege to stand beside my teammates Kenneth Glade, Patrick Sullivan, and Abigail Reedy this afternoon to describe to you a plan that will take REI from being a sustainability leader to being a sustainability hero. We believe REI can accomplish this through partnering with GoPro to offer adventure cameras in each and every REI store. This will be an amazing way to utilize this sharing economy. As stated here by REI, the company itself, it has long been a leader and believed in sustainability principles. We believe that these GoPro rentals and using the sharing economy will bring this to the next level, elevating REI's sustainability on cultural, financial, as well as environmental levels. Before we go any further into our presentation, I would like to go over an itinerary for this afternoon. First, we will define for you our goal. Next, Kenny will dive into our strategy. Patrick will then go over risks and benefits associated with entering the sharing economy, as well as those associated with a partnership with GoPro cameras. Abigail will then paint a portrait of how this will be implemented in the user experience. We will then recap and go over any questions that you may have. Our overall goal is to further REI's existing catalyzing experiences strategy, and we believe we can do just that by offering GoPros in each and every retail store. I will now pass it over to Kenneth, who will go into our dynamic strategy.
Thank you, Sophie. And as we all know, REI is more than just a retail store. It's also a way of life. And with the participation of REI, its loyal customer base and members, and GoPro as well, we plan on exploiting this by enabling them to go out and rent GoPros and take them with them on an adventure. On this adventure, they will be able to take them on an adventure wherever their heart's desires, as well as whenever they feel the drive to explore. You see, we're doing this because we've realized that we've reached a day and age where we no longer have to own every piece of equipment, every tool, because we know that if I don't have one, then my friends do, my neighbors, or my family will already have this equipment. And we can use this to harness the power of the community in order to maximize the utility potential of society. We'll be exploiting a sharing economy that already exists by creating a new economy of sharing experiences. And by enabling the people to go out on these adventures and taking with them these GoPro video cameras, they'll be able to go out, experience things, come back from the outside world, they'll return them back to GoPro itself, and GoPro will then upload the videos and the pictures on their website with the GoPro watermark, the REI watermark, as you will soon see. And in doing this, we'll be able to supplement the marketing budget of REI, as they'll be able to use the user-generated content as opposed to paying for magazine ads or commercials, what have you. And we'll be able to do this, we'll be able to supplement the marketing budget, which will create a surplus in the budget. And I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money, none of us are. But we all know that REI just last year donated $4.6 million to the REI Foundation in order to help preserve the wildlife, as well as to connect people to the outside world. We think this is incredible, and it's right in line with REI's values. But I know you're all asking yourselves right now, why GoPro? Well, aside from the obvious physical advantages of GoPro that other cameras don't necessarily have, such as they're small, they're compact, they're versatile, and they're waterproof, meaning that you can take them in just about any sort of terrain, as well as any type of weather. But beyond that, there's already an existing relationship between REI and GoPro, because REI already sells GoPro products and accessories. As well, REI already has a rental program going on right now for other equipment, which means it aligns perfectly with their current business model. We'll also see that GoPro has a user-generated content experience that REI currently does not have. If you look at the numbers behind me, GoPro leads REI in followers on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, that's not included. And Twitter as well. For the YouTube part, I don't know if you all remember the Felix Baumgartner jump. He was the man that jumped from the troposphere under the Red Bull logo. Well, that video alone garnished 38 million views. And to that point, GoPro, their YouTube channel, has 1.7 million subscribers, meaning that just about any time GoPro uploads a video onto YouTube, 1.7 million people are almost guaranteed to see this, as well as everybody who these users decide to share it with and anybody who stumbles upon the video. So as you can see, REI could certainly benefit from utilizing this user-generated content to supplement their marketing budget, which would be a huge benefit to REI. I'd now like to pass it off to Patrick in order to talk to us a little bit more about the benefits and risks associated with Sustainability Hero.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. There are 4 main benefits we can see from adopting the REI Hero program. The first would be to REI's marketing efforts. These will be bolstered through social media sharing of watermarked photos. The next benefit is the benefit to sustainability and environmental benefits from using refurbished GoPros and utilizing these goods over the entire life of the product. Next, we can see that this program will increase REI's bottom line through both rental fees and incentivized GoPro sales, as users will have the option to purchase the new GoPros less the rental price. Lastly, this integrates seamlessly into REI's existing efforts, as 1, they already rent gear, and 2, they already sell GoPros. Moving on to the risks faced by this project, we can see that there are a few. The first is that customers will not utilize the rental program and simply ignore it. However, at extremely low rental rates, the project still yields a positive net present value. The next risk faced by this project is the exhaustion of supply of refurbished GoPros. Should this be the case that REI does not have, or that there are not enough refurbished GoPros to supply all of the REI stores, we can simply switch to new GoPros and still utilize these assets over their entire life, creating environmental benefits. Lastly, and probably the largest risk faced by this project, is GoPro's refusal to cooperate with REI. However, we think that they will not do this for 3 main reasons. The first being that they have an existing supplier-retailer relationship for which to base this partnership on. Secondly, it's in GoPro's best interest to partner with REI because it will increase GoPro's marketing and sales efforts. Lastly, GoPro has partnered with organizations in the past, such as the Red Bull with their marketing event, so it's reasonable to assume that they will do so in the future. Moving on to our scenario analysis, we can see there are 3 main base cases that we decided to present for you. The first is the worst case scenario, and this is based upon the rental rates. So the worst case scenario assumes that each one of these GoPros will be rented 35 days out of the year. This yields a net present value of around $674,000. Our expected and most likely case is that each one of these GoPros will be rented 75 days a year. This will yield a net present value of $1.1 million. Our best and most optimistic case is that these GoPro cameras will be rented 150 days a year. This yields a net present value of $1.9 million. Moving on to some of the assumptions and inputs we use to calculate these net present values, we assumed that REI would charge $5 a day. Obviously, this is subject to change. If REI wants to offer deals for weekly programs or their adventure programs, they can certainly do that. But for simplicity's sake, we decided to agree on the $5 a day rate. The weighted average cost of capital we used to discount all of our cash flows was 9.5%, assuming that REI is an all-equity financed company. Thirdly, we estimated that out of 25 rental days, this would incentivize a single GoPro sale. That means that out of 25 rental days, one customer decides to utilize the GoPro sale where they can buy a new GoPro minus the rental fee. Lastly, we assumed that each store would require 10 GoPros, and there are 138 stores nationwide. Moving on, we estimated that the social media impact of this effort, we based this off of our expected case scenario where each GoPro is rented 75 days a year. Assuming that each rental day per GoPro yields a single photo, and that single photo is shared with 10 people, then our marketing efforts will reach 1,035,000 people per year. Just to emphasize a few key benefits of our program, there's extremely low capital requirements as each store would only have to purchase 10 GoPros and the SD cards to go along with them. Additionally, our analysis is inherently conservative as we used a very high cost of capital and we used market prices rather than wholesale prices for all of the GoPros. Lastly, our REI Hero program hits on 3 levels. It hits the bottom line of REI, but it also helps their marketing and sustainability efforts. I will now pass it on to Abigail, who will explain the implementation mechanisms.
Thank you, Patrick. So now I would like to walk the audience through the customer experience which we are proposing. Imagine yourself embarking on your amazing adventure, and you walk into an REI to come rent your GoPro. So you're either going on a weekend rock climbing trip with your friends, or perhaps, if you're super lucky, you get to go on an REI adventure to Patagonia for a week. But either way, no matter what you do, at some point, it so sadly has to end. And when that happens, you'll return to the REI, return your GoPro, and at that point, they'll upload all of your photos and videos directly to your account. So you'll have immediate and private access to all of that footage that you just took. And all of that footage will have this watermark that you can see up here. So, while creating our strategy, we wanted to make sure that it really embodied REI's core purpose as a company. First, we focused on how to inspire. With the funds saved on advertising, we recommend that REI donate these to the REI Foundation, which connects the youth to the outdoors and supports programs such as YMCA Surf and Outdoor Reach. Secondly, to educate. We wanted our program to inherently educate millions of people about this service that REI is offering. So by allowing members and non-members access to this, you can really utilize all of that social media and further build upon the relationship that REI obviously has with the outdoors. Thirdly, we chose an established REI product to make the implementation process easy for your company because you're already outfitting people with this product. And we specifically chose the GoPro because these memories that so easily fade from adventures are now captured because of you. And now these experiences can truly last a lifetime. So we really feel like our strategy catalyzes on REI customer experiences while utilizing the shared economy by sharing these GoPros. But we also feel like it's cohesive with the rest of REI's business strategy. First, by using refurbished GoPros, you're curating sustainable products within your company. Secondly, you're creating access to millions of people by allowing members and non-members access to this. And thirdly, our strategy really embodies REI's core purpose as a company to inspire, educate, and outfit people for a lifetime of adventure and stewardship. At this point, I'll pass it on to Sophie to recap on a few of our main points.
Thank you, Abigail. And thank you all for your time and attention this afternoon. We would like to quickly go over our main points. So first, we talked about our overall goal. Kenny then dove into our dynamic strategy. Then Patrick analyzed risks and benefits associated with our proposition. Abigail then curated the user experience for us. Through our plan, you can see that this will further sustainability on cultural, financial, and environmental standpoints for REI. As a company, REI believes in a life well lived. This program will guarantee that those lives well lived will also be well remembered. Thank you.
I don't know if there's an order to the judges' questions, but I'll jump in. I have 2 questions. Yes. One, it's not clear to me where all the refurbished GoPros are coming from. And secondly, have you given thought to, or what is your approach to content analysis? So like if there's a lot of naked skiers, I mean, is that something that REI wants to see posted for 1.7 million people to look at?
I'll answer the first question. So the refurbished GoPros, it's not a fixed, predictable supply. It simply, when GoPros are returned for quality issues to the GoPro Corporation, they fix those GoPros and then resell them to the public and other companies. So the supply is pretty indeterminate to predict. That's why we placed in our risk analysis that there would not be enough refurbished GoPros. However, if we exhaust the entire refurbished GoPro supply, as we said, we would just switch to new GoPros. And then I'll have one of my other team members answer your second question.
All right, I'll answer your second. So this was one of the questions that we were really considering, and so by returning the GoPro to REI, then you get the watermark, but since they're uploaded directly to your account, you have private access to them, and it's up to your discretion what you actually post on social media. So all the photos and videos of private things will be up to you, and you'll have access to them.
What if you're really excited to show that you're a naked skier? I'm from REI's standpoint, do they have any quality control over what is someone else's posting with their watermark?
Included in the rental agreement that it's at REI's discretion to take down those photos. That could be included in the initial rental agreement.
And additionally, when REI would reuse these photos in their own marketing efforts, they would have control over which photos they'd be using.
Did you guys just look at the GoPro camera itself? I mean, being a GoPro user, I have like multiple mounts and all these different things. Like, what does a kit look like? And was that included in your modeling as to here's what a typical kit would look like? It has the chest harness, the head strap, whatever else, like an X number of batteries, that type of thing.
Obviously, that's an area where REI could grow, so they could additionally offer those products to be rented out with this. But for simplicity's sake and time constraints, we decided to keep it simple and just suggest this GoPro rentals to begin with. But that seems like a very natural mode for growth.
How exclusive do you see your relationship, and how long is your relationship with GoPro? Given the technology changeovers, I mean, it could be that some other technology comes in. What kind of a commitment are you making to GoPro? What kind of a commitment are they making with you?
We believe that this initiative has potential to keep evolving and keep growing as the technology field as a whole continues to do so. And we see REI as wanting to continue to grow as their sustainability initiatives and their desire to use these catalyzing experiences and offer these new initiatives come up. We see that in both companies, it's a main theme to continue growing and keep being relevant. So we see it as a lifelong relationship.
To expand on that a little bit, for the financial forecasting, we assumed a life of 2 years for each GoPro camera. So that was kind of our initial assumptions. That's factored into our financial analysis. And as we can see with the Red Bull event, it seems like it could be an ongoing relationship, like subject to change on both parties. And so if either of the parties wanted to back out, obviously they could. But if the relationship's beneficial for both, I think they should just continue.
Do you guys have a recommendation on whether this is something you'd make available to REI members only as a members exclusive, or is it something that you'd suggest opening up to anyone who comes into an REI store?
So we discussed this, and we feel like it'll be more lucrative if you can allow it for members and non-members. And by giving this opportunity to everyone, really that creates traffic within the store and really creates an abundance of potential members that wouldn't otherwise think to utilize this service or become an REI member. I mean, you're really, really growing upon that and just really growing on the idea of getting more people in the store and potentially have a lot more members.
Additionally, it would also drive web traffic, as the users would have to go to the REI website to access the photos, so it would increase the traffic you're seeing to your website as well.
What do you know about the GoPro supply chain, and how would you expect REI to engage with them in terms of fair labor standards and environmental practices?
So we haven't looked too much into the GoPro chain, just to be honest, but we would like to have good faith that they do have a good value chain, and if they didn't, then maybe we would reconsider using a different company with the same business model.
Additionally, we trust the fact that because REI already offers GoPros in their stores, it's a company that they already trust.
So I'm interested. You showed the consumer experience and what the consumer is going to do. I'm curious what the impact is on the retail experience, from the retail employee experience. In other words, the retail operations side of how much work is going to happen to turn these around and process this.
So the implementation process we didn't think would be too difficult. As we mentioned in our presentation, the REI already has gear rental programs and they already sell GoPros. So it seems like a natural extension. You would probably have to train your employees to how to use a GoPro, but I'm assuming most REI employees already realize how to do that. And it's a pretty simple product to use. Additionally, SD cards can be processed by most computers, so that wouldn't be too difficult of a change to implement either.
I have one last question. I see a number of different reasons why REI might do this. So, and you've talked through them, but what do you think, if you had to pick the top reason why REI would do this, what is that reason?
I would say it capitalizes on the catalyzing experiences strategy that the REI company and brand are trying to further. And this allows REI members and just customers in general to become involved. So it's really creating that holistic experience, as well as culturally, financially, and environmentally furthering REI in the sustainability world.
Okay, so just as a little deeper dive, is that are we talking about brand reputation as the primary driver? Are we talking about reducing their marketing budget because they now have social media? Is that the primary driver? Is the revenue from rental sales a primary driver? What's sort of the punchline business case?
We believe that the primary reason is because REI has a strong value in the sharing economy, and we believe that as a co-op company, we can really pull forward and be the role model in that way and begin sharing our experiences and create a much stronger, lasting economy that way. And to my point earlier about how we'll be harnessing the power of society to really maximize the utility potential, this is how we plan on doing this, by sharing our experiences, by becoming a one person, one community.
And as Kenny mentioned, this would allow for funds that otherwise would be used on marketing strategies. Those funds could be allocated and used towards sustainability initiatives that REI already supports, or it would allow them to dive deeper into exploring other initiatives that they're interested in.
I would say that the primary function, though, is definitely the catalyzing experiences. We loosely based our project off of what Epic Local is already doing. They have a similar program where if you ski on one of their mountains and take a picture of you, they'll post it to social media as your Facebook page with a small watermark embedded in it, and it's been a wildly successful program for them. So that's kind of where we were going with this, is creating that catalyzing experiences, as was the primary role of the case.
How did you think about loss or damage to the products as part of this program?
So we assumed that each GoPro would be used for 2 years. However, if the GoPros were seeing more use, that would mean they depreciate faster, but it would also mean more rental revenue for you as a company. And included in any rental agreements, as I'm sure you guys are already pretty good at those because you rent gear, I would assume that you guys have a loss insurance program.
Great,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The third place team was the team from Group A, the University of Colorado Boulder, Leeds School of Business. Up here? Come up here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Good job. Congratulations. So, okay.
Oh, you get on
Here
in
we
here.
go. There we go. Yeah.